Okay, well, welcome everyone, and this is a pretty special little episode here. I've just come out of the surf in Encinitas with Professor Jess Ponting, a fellow Australian, an expat of sorts in another part of the world. Jess does some amazing work with sustainability in the surf industry as well as the snow space as well now. I'll get you to introduce yourself and let everyone know about what you do and where you do it.
Sure. I'm the founder and director of the Center for Surf Research at San Diego State University and co-founder of Stoke Certified, which is the world's first sustainability certification for surf and snow resorts, surf and snow destinations, and also events that take place in the surf and snow space.
So thanks for the explanation and the description there. So how exactly did you get into this space of certifying these kind of resorts and whatnot around the world there and events?
I've always been interested in the sustainability of surf tourism, and in teaching sustainability I come across mainstream certification programs and none of them are addressing the particular needs of the surf and snow industry. They're very, very mainstream, and surf and snow both have their idiosyncrasies that really need addressing directly. And then the other part of that equation is mainstream certifications don't speak to these particular markets in a language that they understand, appreciate, or really care about. So if we operate in that space and speak their language and care about the things that directly impact those specific niches, which are the ones that we love, the places that we love to go, so it comes from a very authentic place, then it resonates not only with the properties that are seeking to become more sustainable, but also to the market that they serve.
And so where are some of these locations around the world that you've certified thus far with Stoke?
All of our snow properties currently are in the United States, but on the surf side we have properties in Fiji, we're working on some in the Maldives, in Indonesia, Panama, Liberia in West Africa, the Philippines. We've got a number in the pipeline from around the world as well. We currently operate in 8 different countries.
Beautiful. And so you're managing to get a couple of surfs in between certifications?
Yeah, our evaluations are done by third-party independent evaluators, but we do get usually some consulting work on the front end to help the resorts figure out what it is they need to do to get to a standard where they can be compared to the Stoke certification standard. And yeah, at that point we go and we work hard, but then we get a surf or two in as well.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. And so with the kind of burgeoning wave parks and wave pools and things like that, do you have much activity with those developments? They are kind of coming onto the scene quite strongly at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Stoke Certified is working on a surf park standard at the moment. We've got a great deal of interest from surf park developers and technology companies. They're very interested in being as sustainable as they can be. It's something that I've been pushing as well. I run a series of conferences with a co-founder of that called Surf Park Summit, and we presented at our last Surf Park Summit the importance of sustainability for the surf park industry. What we don't need is another toxic representation of surfing in the world. We really need these to be as sustainable as possible from the get-go, and hopefully form links back to natural marine environments so that we can create a whole new subset of ocean activists and people who care about the marine environment who don't actually frequent them. They just learn about the activities that take place and by proxy start to care as well.
That's a really interesting insight. It isn't a given that people will actually care about marine environments if they're in a landlocked place surfing on waves.
Absolutely.
So how do you think you can get that achieved?
I think you just make that link, you form it into part of the education. Everyone who's going to go to these places or who lives in those areas is probably going to be learning from scratch. So there's an education process, and I think it's a matter of onboarding them into that and creating an education around where waves come from, what the history of surfing is, where some of the better surf breaks in the world are, and what the issues facing those environments are. My sense is that people who will learn to surf in a surf park will aspire to surf at some of these world-class surf breaks when they become accomplished enough, and that's going to be the peak of their aspiration. I don't think it's going to be difficult to educate them to care about those environments, as long as you take that step.
Yeah, that's an important step, and it would be very encouraging if imagine if a whole new kind of group of people from landlocked places started to care about our marine environments? Because they are particularly threatened at the moment, wouldn't you? You would agree?
Of course, and the people from these landlocked environments are contributing to the problems as well. So again, it's an easy link to make if you take the time to make it.
Yeah. And so what are some of the challenges with these resorts in terms of them achieving more sustainable operations?
Well, in terms of surf resorts, a big part of it is energy generation. Traditionally, particularly in remote areas, surf resorts have relied on diesel generators. It's becoming increasingly easy for them to transition over to renewables. Waste disposal is another issue. We go beyond just the environmental impacts to consider social and cultural impacts as well as the economic impact of these resorts. So how are they representing local cultures? Where are they sourcing the food for their restaurant from? What does their payroll look like? What percentage of that is going to people from the local area? Do they encourage local businesses and support those by encouraging their guests to frequent other local businesses? Are they actively contributing to the conservation of the area that they're operating in? There's 143 different metrics that we measure and almost 400 compliance indicators, so I could go on for another half hour, but those are, in general, the kinds of things that we work on. Some resorts are better in some areas than others, and others specialise in other areas. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. Most places that we deal with, because they self-select for an interest in sustainability, are already doing okay, but there's lots of areas to improve on as well.
Yeah, it sounds quite holistic, the approach that you're taking.
Absolutely.
So for the viewer out there, where can they find out more about what you're doing? I'm going to add some little text underneath when you say this, like on a nice infomercial. So where can they find you and learn more?
We have a website, stokecertified.com. There's a number of podcasts that we've been featured on as well. If you Google around for Stoke Certified, but stokecertified.com is the place to start.
Excellent. Well, surf's up, folks. Get onto it. Thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
And thanks for the surf.
Of course.
It was a lot of fun. Visit Encinitas sometime. It's kind of cool. Thanks.
No worries.
Yeah, that's great.